Welcome, scholars, to lesson 4.1, slope. The slope m of a non-vertical line passing through 2 points, we're going to call the first point x1, comma, y1, and our second point, which is x2, comma, y2, is the ratio of the rise, which is the change in y, to the run, which is the change in x. If you think about the slope of a mountain, or the steepness of a mountain, or even the steepness of a staircase, right? It's not just about how much it's going up and down, it's about also going left to right, and it's that ratio. So when you think of slope, think of rise over run, which is our change in y over our change in x. There's a couple other ways we're going to write it. So instead of writing the word change, we can use the delta symbol. So that delta symbol means change. So change in y over our change in x. Okay. And then how do we think about that change? Well, if we're looking at 2 points, we are going to subtract them. So we're going to subtract our y2 minus our y1. That's going to be over our x2 minus our x1. And this is actually going to be our slope formula. So when the line rises from left to right, the slope is positive. When the line falls from left to right, the slope is negative. If the line is horizontal, our slope is 0. If the line is vertical, it's an undefined slope. Because I don't know if you remember this, but we cannot divide by 0. And so that's why if our change in y is 0, then that's okay. Our slope is going to be 0. But if our change in x is 0, right, we cannot divide by 0, so it becomes undefined. And we're going to look at these examples right now. So let's look at example number 1. Let's first describe the slope of each line and then find the slope. So in describing the slope just means let's just write down our rise and our run and then find the slope, which is just dividing the two. So if we look at example 1 at letter A, so it's actually, the rise and run are already kind of drawn for you, except they did it in kind of a weird way. So I'm going to actually do it in a different way, and I'm going to do the rise first, all right? So I'm going to actually go from this point right here, and I'm trying to get to this point over here. So I'm actually going to, again, rise first. So I'm going to go up this way. And so it doesn't matter. I'm actually doing it both ways so you can see. It doesn't matter which one you start with. You're going to still get, let's see, it's rising 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So it's 4 right there. So our rise is 4. And then our run is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So our run is 6. And so see how, again, they look like they kind of ran and then rose. But either way, as long as you know that you are going up 4 and you're going over 6. And now again, our slope is rise over run. Rise over run. So that means I'm going to have 4 over 6. And that's it, except, is this fraction simplified? No, it is not. We need to divide by a number. And since they're both even, I'm going to divide by 2. So when I divide both of these by 2, I get 2 over 3. And that is my slope for letter A. So let's look at letter B. Again, if I'm going from here to here, I'm actually going to rise first, right? Rise over run. So, but instead of actually going up, see how it's falling? I'm going to have a negative slope. So I'm actually going to go down. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. And since I'm going down 3, it is going to be negative 3, right? Negative 3. And then I'm going to run. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 1, 2. And so my run is 2. And again, this kind of already has it here. They have done it, well, this test book, they did run, and then rise. And so it doesn't really matter as long as you know that the rise comes on the top and the run is going to go on the bottom. So our rise is going to go on the top here. Our run is on the bottom. And that is my slope, right? Negative 3 over 2. And I could actually write it as just a negative number. So let's write it as negative 3 over 2 like this. So that is my slope for letter B. So now with these videos, we're trying something different. I have a try it here. So I would like you to actually pause the video and try these on your own. Yes, that's right. Go ahead and pause it right now. Then I'm going to go over the answers after you've tried it first. All right, hopefully you've tried it and not just kept going. Because I really want you guys to really see if you understand it before you get to the practice. Therefore, you can, or that way you can actually just come and ask me and stop the video. Literally just come and ask me if you are in class, if you don't understand something, and I can help you. All right, so let's go over the answers. So for number 1, I'm going from this point to this point. So my rise, so that means I'm going to count up and down. So I'm going to count 1, 2. So I'm going down 2. So my rise is negative 2. And my run, I'm going to count over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. Since my rise is negative 2 and my run is 5, my slope is negative 2/5. Remember, rise, you just count up or down. Run, you're going to count left or right, and then you divide them. You put them over each other in a fraction, and then you're done. So let's look at number 2. So our rise, let's just set up rise and run right here. All right, and then let's kind of count over. Now, how do you know where to count over, right? I'm going to always start with my left point and then go over to my right point. So my left point is right here and my right point is right here. So I'm going to go from here to here. So I'm going to first rise. I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm rising 4. And I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be 6. So that actually looks just like our first example, right? 4 over 6. So you already know that I need to simplify this. And this becomes 2/3. All right. Or did I miscount that? No. 4 over 6. Yep, they just happened to copy it. That's kind of weird. But okay. Now number 3. Oh, this one's in the middle right here. And it's also in the middle right here. So, it's because they counted by 2s. Okay. Interesting. So since they're counting by 2s, it's actually, we can't really just count the boxes. We have to make sure we're counting the numbers. So let's actually look at the numbers here. So our change in Y is actually going to be 3 because I'm going from, no, it's going to be 7. Sorry, I'm looking at the X. It's going to be 7 because I'm going from -3 to 4. So my rise is 7. And then I'm going to run 3 because my X's are 2 and 5. So usually you can just count over boxes, but if you can't, make sure you look at that, the X and Y values. So my rise over run is going to be 7 over 3, and I can leave it like that. All right, let's go on to example number 2. What is the slope of a line that passes through the points -8, -1, and -5, 0? So again, we are using this slope formula, but there's no graph to count and look at. So we have to go back and remind ourselves of what the slope formula is, which is y2 minus y1, all divided by x2 minus x1. And actually, let's look at the steps that I have provided here. It says label your points. So let's do that first. How do we label our points? Well, if we go back up to the notes, It says our 2 points are x1, y1, and x2, y2. That's how we're going to label our points. So I'm going to label this first one x1, y1, and the second one x2, y2. So I've labeled my points. I'm done with that. Now it says write down my slope formula. So that would be y2 minus y1 equals over x2 minus x1. So I've written down my slope formula. Now I'm going to plug points into the formula. So y2 is 0. y1 is -1, so I'm going to subtract -1. x2 is -5 minus, and x1 is -8. And now I just have to simplify. So what is 0 minus -1? Well, when I subtract a negative, I really end up adding. So 0 plus 1 is just 1. And then the same thing down here. -5 minus -8 is -5 plus 8, which is 3. So I have 3 down here. So my slope is 1/3, which is 1/3. And I'm done. So now for the try it again, go ahead and pause, just give it a try, and I'll go over it in just a second. All right, so let's go ahead and go through the steps. So my first step is to label the points. That would be x1, y1, x2, y2. So I've done that. Now I'm going to write down the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 equals, I keep saying equals, over x2 minus x1. There's the equals. And then I'm going to plug my points in. So my y2 is 2. My y1 is 6. So 2 minus 6 goes on the top. And then x2 is -14 minus, and x1 is -2. So see, I'm just plugging the points in. That's why it's very crucial to just label them first. All right, then you can easily plug in. And now I'm going to simplify. So 2 minus 6 is -4. And -14 minus -2 is -14 plus 2, which is -12. And then again, here they keep repeating. It's okay. So -4 divided by -12 is +1/3. It's funny how we keep getting the same answers, but it's all right. So I think that is it for this lesson. Yep. So I think you guys got this. Go ahead and try the practice, and good luck.